The new tax introduced by the left-wing British government is expected to hurt all farmers, but the owners of the largest farms will be hit the hardest. Heirs will pay 20% of the value of inherited property. The protesting farmers were joined by popular TV presenter Jeremy Clarkson.
This is where the food comes from. Yeah. If the government ends farming.
The effects of government policy could be disastrous, seizing unprofitable farms and building wind farms in their place.
Well, the vast majority of farms will not be affected. The data from HMRC is actual data from the last year that we actually have real data available, projected forwards. It shows that no more than around 500 farms would be affected.
Clarkson understands these problems well, and his views speak directly to the needs of the right-wing electorate.
A lot more impactful things. I think farmers can do better than that. I've got some ideas.
The British Daily Telegraph sees similarities between the TV star and U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Why Jeremy Clarkson could be Britain's Donald Trump? In another article, the paper says Jeremy Clarkson's growing popularity could sink the Labour government and Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Paradoxically, after Brexit, the UK has gone even further in pursuing the leftist agenda, the social agenda, the social change agenda, and finally the climate agenda. And now what we have is a fight against farmers. A resistance movement is necessary, and Jeremy Clarkson is one person who represents such a resistance movement. The Labour Party is losing support in the polls. So far, their energy and climate goals have been in line with those of the U.S., as long as the Democrats were in charge. Under Donald Trump, American industry is expected to take a different direction. The question is how the British market will react. Interestingly, a well-known British car brand, Jaguar, intends to produce only electric cars and is launching a new marketing campaign. The launch of the campaign was met with a wave of criticism in the media. Do you sell cars? Jaguar is a brand with more than 100 years of tradition, but in its new commercial, the theme of cars was completely ignored. Instead, it explored themes of gender identity, multiculturalism, and LGBT ideology. This is a stark example of how ideologization has reached all areas of life in the British Isles. The marketing campaigns of well-known brands in certain countries are carried out in accordance with the political goals of those in power. Jaguar's commercial is in line with the Labour Party's program. On the other hand, since Donald Trump's victory in the U.S., the aerospace conglomerate Boeing has already gotten rid of its entire diversity department, which favored minorities among its employees, especially African Americans or those who identify themselves as part of the LGBT community. It's also a broader example of how Jaguar fits into what has been supported, advertised, and promoted in the UK so far, in ways that we may not yet know, and hopefully will never know. Campaigns like this one by Jaguar show that large corporations are behind the shaping of public opinion, often in areas that have nothing to do with the company's business. The intense promotion of LGBT ideology and cultural correctness, on the other hand, is an obvious attempt to set a new standard of normalcy. Interestingly, on Monday, Victoria Kjær from Denmark won the Miss Universe 2024 pageant. Her victory came as a surprise to many because she is a white, heterosexual, biological woman. Previous editions of the pageant have established a new canon of beauty based on diversity. In short, minority women, including even transgender people, were more likely to win. We have seen in the Western world and in the United Kingdom that for years there's a strong correlation between big capital and leftist ideologies, people who portray themselves as some kind of revolutionaries, who are oppressed minorities or represent them, in fact enjoy the sympathy and massive multi-billion-dollar support of the world's largest, most powerful, and wealthiest companies. The rise in popularity of Donald Trump and his victory in the last election, as well as the example of Jeremy Clarkson, show that conservative values are still in high demand. However, whether these values will be swept away or not depends on us.